The next challenge is, I'm looking. I decided today, Sunday, the day before Thriller Fest starts, that I want to do ThrillerAthon. Thriller Fest is the conference. I am struggling to film videos because I haven't filmed in weeks. I don't know how people do this every time, because this is extremely hard to stack books. This is why I never do thumbnails with a stack of books, because it's freaking hard. Hey guys, it's Audrey and welcome back to Chapter and Converse. So, full disclosure, I have not filmed a video in weeks because I have been out of town, and this is like the 4th attempt to do an intro because my battery has died, I ran out of room on my card, I am completely out of practice. So, fair warning, this ThrillerAthon TBR is probably going to be a complete mess, but I decided last minute to do it. It is Sunday the 18th when I'm filming this. I'm gonna power, film, edit, upload. It starts tomorrow, but I was watching everybody's TBR videos and I got super like FOMO-y and wanted to do it. So here I am filming a TBR that is probably going to be as hot messy as I am right now. So before I jump into my TBR, just a few housekeeping items. You may have noticed my videos have been a little sporadic lately. I was out of town, kind of long story short, I wound up getting a new job and having an opportunity to take some time off before it starts next week. And I went back to California for a few weeks and stayed with my sister and just kind of like hung out and lived life and had an amazing time. And I had pre-filmed all these videos and I was gonna edit them and upload them when I was there. And I edited them and I kind of uploaded a couple, but I was having problems uploading and basically was living life and trying to just take a detox from social media and everything else. So that's why you haven't seen me consistently. That's why I haven't been responding to comments in a quick manner. So I apologize for being a bit off the grid. Kind of like the best things in life, it completely didn't go according to plan and in the best possible way. So without getting too much into all of that, I am back. Forewarning, I am starting a new job, so I feel like that's gonna mess with my schedule too, but I'm going to do my darndest to be more consistent in uploading and commenting and in all that good stuff. But that's kind of where I've been, and I just got back, so literally like everything behind the camera is a disaster, and it's giving me a lot of anxiety to look at my piles of junk that I need to go through and all that good stuff. So anyway, here I am going to do ThrillerAthon. So in case you don't know, this is the 19th through the 26th, and it is hosted by Harriet Rosie, Nicole from A Beautiful Chaos of Books, and Victoria from What Victoria Read. So it's an original readathon from Harriet, and they're co-hosting with her this year. I'll list everybody's info down below. I will list all the challenges down below too, but there are kind of like 9 challenges on a bingo board, which I love. And well, I have no aspirations, even in the best of times, that I would read 9 books in a week. I am going to come up with a whole bunch of books, but a lot of my books apply for different challenges. So we'll just see how it all goes. But I love kind of getting back into the swing of things. I really didn't read a lot when I was away, which also was so unlike me. But again, it was just like, we were just on the go and out and about, and I would like read like maybe 10 pages at night if I was lucky, or maybe like I read one day when I was just like grabbing coffee while my sister was doing something. And it is, so it's August 18th. I have finished 1 book this month, and I have about 100 pages left in the book that I'm reading now, and my mission is, on top of everything else, to finish that book today so I can start ThrillerAthon with a clean slate. So let's get into the challenges. I'm gonna get into the books, and we're just gonna ride this crazy wave together. So the first challenge is to read the oldest book on your TBR, and I have once again picked Dark Places by Gillian Flynn, and this was on my TBR for the reading rush. And I did have every good intention of reading it, but reading rush was in the middle of when like I traveled midweek that week, and I just didn't. So it is back. So help me, I'm going to get to this. I love Gillian Flynn. This is the last book of hers that I have to read. It is about, I've already talked about this before. So Libby Day her family was murdered. She kind of gave the testimony when she was 7 years old that put her 15-year-old brother behind bars. And now, kind of all these years later, there is kind of like this true crime group that I think doesn't believe that her brother was the murderer, and she's starting, I think, to kind of like doubt herself. So it's just all things Gillian Flynn. I'm expecting dark and twisty and just amazingly, wonderfully messed up characters. So I'm very excited, but it's kind of like, you know, did she wrongfully accuse her brother? Who's really is the murderer? Is the murderer still out there? What really happened that night? So on top of it being one of my favorite authors, it's a whole bunch of tropes that I love as well. So boom, first book. The next book is to read an author that you've read before, and I picked 13 Minutes by Sarah Pinborough. So I read The Wife Between Us by Sarah Pinborough and Greer Hendricks, but this is a book that I've had on my shelf for quite a while, and I got it from Book Outlet, and it's YA mystery thriller, and it's about this girl, Natasha, who is kind of the most popular girl in school, and at the very beginning of the book, she is pulled out of like an icy cold river because somebody tried to kill her, and she doesn't get why, because she's the coolest girl in school, so who wants to kill her? Apparently somebody. So it's her trying to figure out kind of like what happened, and it is, you know, high school, which I love, and it just is like, you know, kind of what all led up to this. So again, this book has been on my shelf for quite a while. There's also an audiobook available of it on Hoopla, so that excites me, because let's be honest, if I'm going to read a whole bunch of books this week, some of them need to be on audio. But I love me some teen drama. I really enjoyed The Wife Between Us, so this is my, I've read you before, but now I'm going to jump into her YA world. The next challenge is to pick a thriller with a trope that you love, and for this one I picked Never Look Back by Allison Galen, and I talked about this in my ThrillerAthon wrap-up, and this is one of the books that I got during ThrillerAthon, and Allison Galen is also an author I've read before, and I really enjoy her, and this book has lots of tropes that I love, so bing, bing, bing. So kind of the first sentence here is, for 13 days in 1976, teenage murderers April Cooper and Gabriel Leroy terrorized Southern California's Inland Empire, killing a dozen victims before perishing themselves in a fire. Or did they? So this is, we get multiple timelines, so we get kind of what happened back in the 70s, and then we've got a podcaster in the current world. Love me a podcast. And then we have kind of this family, mother, daughter, what quite is happening? Is the mother the mass murderer? Is she not? Who do we trust? So we've got unreliable narrator as well. So multiple timelines, podcast, unreliable narrator. Love, love, love. And again, I've read Allison Galen before, and I love her writing, so I'm excited to read this one. The fourth challenge is to read a thriller, a favorite thriller by one of the hosts. And there are three choices for this. The first is Sweet Bee by C.J Skuse, which I already read, so rats can't do that one. Sleep by C.L Taylor, which I would love to read, but it's only available in the UK right now, so that's not gonna happen. And the last one is The Good Daughter by Karin Slaughter. So I have put this on hold through my library, digitally, so we'll see if that actually comes through or not. If it does, great. If it doesn't, let's be honest, I'm not gonna buy a book this week, so I may fail at this challenge, we'll see, but hopefully Karin Slaughter will come through for me. I have talked about her before. I like, I don't understand, like, I love these authors as people. Like, I've seen her live at book conferences, I have listened to her podcast, I've read so much about her, but I've yet to read one of her books. I have Pretty Girls on my shelf. I need to read one of her books, let's be honest. So hopefully this one comes through. If it doesn't come through in time for Thriller Fest or ThrillerAthon, I keep doing that. I will read it, I swear. So stay tuned for Karin Slaughter at some stage of the game from me. The next challenge is your most anticipated thriller, and this is another one that I got at Thriller Fest, and I'm so excited for Girls Like Us by Christina Alger. This was on my list as a book that I was so excited to read, and it's funny, like, I'm trying to prioritize everything because obviously these are all books that I want to read, but I might do this one first. So this is, and again, I talked about it in that video, but an FBI agent, Flynn, hasn't been home in 10 years, and her dad was a homicide detective, and he winds up dying. So she returns home for that. And while she's there, she kind of gets pulled into this murder investigation out on Long Island. And I want to say 2 girls died or 2 bodies were found, but she gets pulled into this investigation. And kind of the twist tagline is like, you know, what happens when your father is the prime suspect. And she's investigating. I think she's starting to suspect that his police friends are maybe covering up for him. So she's forced to sort of go back into her hometown. Trope I love. A lot of these books fill a lot of the different whatchamacallit challenges. And she didn't have the best relationship with her dad, so she's discovering things about him and kind of discovering the kind of whodunit in this murder as well. So many things happening in this. I can't wait. I'm so excited for it. And again, I talked about this in the other one. Like the cover, I feel like you're getting a bad glare here, but it's gorgeous. The next challenge is the newest thriller on your list, and I will confess, the day before I came home from California, I ordered this on Amazon so it would be on my doorstep when I got here, and it's The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. You guys know I love Ruth Ware, and while I didn't love the ending of The Woman in Cabin 10, I really enjoyed that book up until a point, and I have thoroughly enjoyed all of her other books. She is top on my list. I love her writing. I love her atmosphere. I love her characters. I love her twists. I love her stories. I love all of it. And I have been hearing nothing but like amazing praise for this book. And I've heard it from booktubers who haven't necessarily connected with her other books the way that I did. So I'm even more intrigued, because if I already love her to begin with, this is either going to be like totally out of the stratosphere for me, or I'm afraid it's not going to connect with me, but I'm going on the happier side of like, it's going to be out of the stratosphere. So this just came out a couple weeks ago. It's about this woman named Rowan. She's a nanny, and I think she's basically accused of like killing the kids. You think I should have read this before? I don't want to know too much. But like she takes this position in like this smart house where like everything's sort of controlled, I think like computerized and electronically. And the story is told while she is in jail. So she's been accused of killing, I think, the children, if not the family. And she's writing letters to her lawyer. So it's also written in letter format, which I also love, but I just can't wait. I've heard nothing but raves about this. Super, super highly anticipating. This is definitely one I want to try and read this week too. This is going to be ridiculous. I'm going to try and read 8 books in 7 days. So yeah, here we go. The next challenge is to read a new to you thriller author. And I picked, I'm looking down, The Naturals by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. And I literally just heard about Jennifer Lynn Barnes from Mara at Books Like Whoa. And it's YA thriller, and she was raving about just how good they are and just what a good writer she is and the stories, and I immediately like hopped on Hoopla and found it. So they have the book of it on Hoopla. Honestly, I didn't even read what the story was about. I don't even care what the story is about. I totally trust Mara's suggestions. There's a lot of things that we are similar on in our taste, and I'm always looking for somebody new. So yeah, I picked this one. The next challenge is to pick the shortest thriller on your TBR, and this is where I'm double dipping because I have to, and it's Girls Like Us by Christina Alger. So the last page of this book, which is acknowledgments, is 276 pages, so I'm guessing the book is around 270. I checked a bunch of other books on my shelf, and this is by far the shortest one I have that I haven't read yet, so I'm double dipping here. But if you are looking for other suggestions, I just read The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn, which is like novella. It's like 80 something pages, but I would count it because I read it for a reading rush and I counted it for that. And then The Chalk Man by C.J. Tudor is like, I think it's also like 275 pages. It's definitely under 300. So it's a short book. It's more, I wouldn't even call it like horror or anything like that, but it's like mystery, atmospheric. It's been likened to Stephen King's It. I will link my review, the month that I did the review on that. I think it was April. I really enjoyed it. It's dueling timelines. You're not quite sure what happened. There's a dead body on the first page. You're not quite sure who the dead body is. The kids discover it when they are like 12 years old. So that's where it's getting like the It comparisons, but I very much enjoyed it. I enjoyed, the characters. I enjoyed the reveal of it all. I enjoyed the storytelling. So if you have not yet read that one, that's another short one that you could add to your TBR. And the last challenge is to pick a thriller, the creepiest cover. And again, I scoured my shelves to try and figure out what was super creepy slash not too long, that it might be manageable if I wind up going this direction. And Lying in Wait by Liz Nugent hit all the marks. So this is also a book I've had on my shelf for a bit. I had purchased Unraveling Oliver a while ago and I haven't read it. And then April from Getting Hooked With It was talking about this on her channel. So I immediately picked it up in one of my book outlet hauls a while back. And basically this is like, so the creepiness that you're seeing here, it's this married couple. I want to say they have a teenage child. Doesn't matter. Anyway, they basically like, I think the husband has an affair and they murder her and bury her in the backyard is basically like the opening page of this. So I'm guessing she's coming back to haunt them in some way or another. I don't think it's supernatural in any kind of a sense, but this is kind of like, I feel like people were likening it to My Lovely Wife in the sense that you've got this couple who kills people and, you know, will they get away with it? Will they not? Who knows? But I've heard great things about this from April and from some other people. So this is definitely one that I want to be reading, and there's a nice creep factor, right? I feel like it's a little creepy. So boom, challenge number 9. Okay, so that is my TBR for ThrillerAthon. Fast and Furious. Hopefully I didn't power too much through this, and hopefully it all makes sense when I go back and edit it. But let me know if you guys are participating, what you're reading, if you've read any of these books. Again, you guys know I'm such a mood reader. I don't know what direction I'm gonna go in, but I definitely think Girls Like Us is going to be first. I'm looking at the pile. I really want to read this, and Ruth Ware, so we'll see. So I will keep you guys posted on how it all goes. I will do some version of a wrap up of all of the books, and if you're participating, I hope you have fun with it too. I feel like this is a great way to get me back into the reading groove again because I have missed my books. So I love a thriller. So this is like made for me. So here we go. I am rambling. Thank you guys for watching today, for checking back in. Again, I'm so sorry I have been so sporadic and off the grid and kind of messy as of late, but I am officially back in New York, so I'm gonna try and just get myself together and get back on my game. But I will see you guys in the next video. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see everybody really soon. Thanks guys, bye.